On July 30th, 2024, Antonio Alexander was at Old Torf and Parker. Officers Ryan Kirchberg and Shalom Alvarez pulled up and accused him of jaywalking.
Red hoodie? Yeah, you, sir. The reason why you're getting stopped right now is I'm reaching here.
Back up off me.
They grab him and he gets taken to the ground.
Hey, stop.
So you can see what happens here. They have a gentleman who's waiting at a bus stop. He's approached by some officers and immediately puts his hands up. He's only holding a cell phone. The question that you can ask yourself and that we ask ourselves as civil rights attorneys is, who escalated this incident? It's very clear here from my vantage point, and I think from most people and most jurors, that he did not. He backed up. He had both his hands in the air. He didn't say anything aggressive. And what do the officers do? They escalate the violence. They grab him, wind up having to throw him to the ground. They never once give him any commands that he disobeys. These are the telltale signs of excessive force. These officers have a history of using excessive force. And that is sort of the blueprint that unfortunately we see time and time again. You have officers that are using excessive force on a regular basis. And what happens to them in terms of discipline from their department? Are they still on the street? Are they still interacting with citizens? Are they continuing to use these same sort of tactics without any repercussions? And, as you'll see in the video, that's exactly what appears to be happening in this instance.
Very scarring experience.
Alexander was charged with resisting arrest, but that was ultimately dropped. He's filing a lawsuit.
Again, that is also a pattern, right? They'll charge the citizen with an offense like resisting arrest or obstruction of justice, something like that, right? Which tries to, in their opinion, validate what's just happened. These are charges that are levied after the fact. And then what happens most of the time is once the evidence comes to light through, the police department's own legal counsel or whomever, these charges are dropped. But that's not the end of the incident for the actual victim, right? That's the beginning. They now have mugshots. They have their fingerprints taken. They have what would appear to the public sometimes to be a criminal record, even though the charges were ultimately dropped. Police departments a lot of times are very vigilant about getting information out there about the crimes that were charged, but not as vigilant about correcting the record when charges are dropped. And so these, in addition to a lot of the physical damage that you see here and other things, are part of the damages that we seek for our clients.
And both officers. His attorney, Chris Tolbert, says the pattern of excessive force has to stop.
We have citizens who are doing nothing other than waiting on a bus stop, wearing a red hoodie, completely innocent behavior, and they have to suffer this. They have to live with this type of assault on their dignity.
And I agree with his attorney in everything that he said. You have a law-abiding citizen who's then happens to be attacked by a law enforcement officer, which is even more damaging in a lot of regards. Some of the things I've spoken about already, but there's also psychological damage that is done, even PTSD, things like that come the next time that you're waiting for the bus and an officer pulls up or officer drives by. These damages are real. This conduct is, to my eye, a gross violation of this person's constitutional rights. And these are the sort of cases that we step in and try to bring some justice.
Alexander's leg was fractured. He had to have surgery and metal rods placed in his leg, and he says he still has pain to this day.
You're assaulting me, it's abuse of power, and it's not okay at all.
Both officers involved have disciplinary histories. Alvarez has 2 suspensions, one from 2022 and one from 2025.
So again, even just as a layperson, as a juror, as a citizen, you have officers that have multiple suspensions for conduct that appears at least to be similar to this. And what are the repercussions? You don't have a constitutional right to be a police officer. You do have a constitutional right to be free from assaults and violation of your rights by police officers. So if you have police officers that are continuing to engage in conduct like this, it's the responsibility of the police department and ultimately the city to either reassign these officers where they are not having direct contact with the public, retrain these officers, or to ultimately not just suspend, but to terminate officers who are continuing to engage in this sort of conduct.
2025. Kirchberg has a 12-day suspension from 2022.
We just want to make sure that, again, we don't take steps backwards for all the good work that we've done around police reform here in the city of Austin.
And one thing that jumps out when you look at this video, even as sort of shocking it is and how clearly it shows, I think, police misconduct, is again, this is from the body cam of the officer or one of the officers, which is a very, very valuable resource to have when you're litigating these cases. But there's going to be angles from some of the other people that were on the street there waiting for the bus, passersby, maybe surveillance from one of the businesses nearby. Those are also going to give different angles and more information. It's so critical that people who are in these situations reach out to an attorney very quickly because, again, these witnesses, they disappear. They delete things from their phone. Maybe their phone breaks. Maybe their phone drops in the water. The faster you can get in touch with an attorney, the more evidence that can be collected and the stronger your case is going to be.